Welcome into Big Ten Today. So happy to have you here. We are brought to you by Gatorade. I'm Kylan Mills. It is June, and we're officially already counting down to football season, just 2.5 months away or so. Coming up, we're going to hear from Ohio State head coach Ryan Day on his expectations for the 2025 campaign as the Buckeyes look to defend the national championship. First, though, we're looking ahead to baseball super regionals. The UCLA Bruins are rolling into super regionals, and that is today's big story. They're coming off a dominant showing last weekend. The 15th-seeded Bruins won their LA regional with an 8-5 victory over UC Irvine on Sunday. They outscored their opponents 38-14 across 3 games on the weekend. The team is led by Big Ten player and Defensive Player of the Year Roch Cholowsky, who paces the team in hits, home runs, and many more offensive categories. UCLA advances to super regionals for the first time since 2019. Who better to talk more about the Bruins than shortstop Roch Cholowsky, who joins us now for today's big interview. Roch, thanks so much for the time. Glad to see you.
Thanks for having me.
All right, well, we got to start with your team's dominant performance in regionals. You put up 38 runs, and one thing that impressed me was the production from the top to the bottom of the order. Guys 6 through 9 really coming through with some clutch hits. What stood out to you about your team's offensive play this past weekend?
Just not letting up all weekend. We were tough outs 1 through 9 this whole weekend. The goal was to really grind out the starting pitcher early and get to the bullpen. So that just went into our pre-work and our meetings before the game, just how we were going to attack it, what we were facing on the mound. And I thought that every guy who was up there at the plate, executed the approach properly and did a good job at it. And that's why we were so successful this weekend.
I mean, Peyton Brennan was great, Phoenix Call. You look at those guys at the bottom of the order continuing to produce. You also look at the play of your pitching staff as being something that's been really impressive here in the postseason. Going back to game 1 of the Big Ten tournament, you guys faced Illinois and used 9 pitchers this past weekend. The bullpen came through once again. What has impressed you most about what you've seen from your pitching staff in the postseason?
I mean, every guy's going up there looking the same. Our bullpen's probably been one of our strongest suits this year. We know that if we're going into the game 5th, 6th inning with a lead, that we got a pretty good chance of pulling it off just because of how talented our back end guys are. Our starting pitching's been great all year. It's gotten better as the year's gone on, with Barnett leading that group. He's been doing a great job of just getting us into those late innings with, few runs on the board. So it's also very relieving as an offense because we don't feel the pressure to score a lot of runs to win games. But the bullpen's really stepped up, and that Big Ten tournament showed a lot because we did have 9 guys throw on that Illinois game, and then I think we had 7 or 8 guys throw the next day too against Michigan. So just having a deep bullpen has definitely helped us all year, and it's going to continue to help us these next couple weeks.
A lot of credit has to go to your head coach, John Savage, as well, for managing that pitching staff and seeming to find the right matchups time and time again. For you personally, going into that Big Ten tournament championship game, you had a stretch of games where you hit 7 home runs in 8 outings. What is your biggest key at the plate that allows you to have that type of success?
Really just knowing what I'm going up against, and then also just really going up there to see the ball, not making early decisions. Waiting for my pitch, whether that's the first pitch of the at-bat or later in the at-bat after seeing a few. So I'm really just trying to go up there with a plan and just trying to execute it, and it's been working out for me.
What goes through your mind when you hit a bomb?
Honestly, not much. I tend to black out after I hit the ball if I get it pretty good. So I'm not really sure what happens until about I get to second base.
You tend to black out. You'd be surprised how many high-level athletes say that that's exactly what happens when they make a massive play. That is too funny to me. Well, another thing that makes you super special is what you do defensively. You had a couple of incredible web gems here throughout postseason play. Why is the defensive side of this game so important to you?
I just enjoy it. I think it's a lot of fun. Me and my friends, Roman Martin, Phoenix Call, Vi, we enjoy coming to the field and taking ground balls almost more than we do coming to hit. We had our regional opener on Friday, and I think we were here Thursday till about 12:30 in the morning taking ground balls. Blake Balls came and hit us ground balls for about an hour and a half. We just have fun with it. So just getting better at that part of my game is enjoyable to me, so I take pride in that.
Did you say 12:30 in the morning is how late you were taking ground balls?
Yeah, we were there pretty late.
That is next level dedication. So kudos to you and your teammates for being committed to be out that late. That is way past my bedtime. Well, coming out of high school, you were a #1 player. You could have gone almost anywhere, including the MLB draft. Why UCLA? What was it about head coach John Savage and the culture in LA that drew you in?
I mean, he was the first coach to really recruit me. I had talked to other schools. It was young. I was pretty young when I did the whole recruiting process, but he was the first coach to officially offer me and give me a chance. And just looking at the pedigree of guys that come through here, I mean, it's up there with any other school in the country. Just having guys like Chase Utley and Brandon Crawford come through here and be successful big leaguers in the infield position was big for me to look at. And then also I wanted to go somewhere where I could win games and have an impact early. Whereas there's a lot of schools right now where they're heavy on the transfer portal and they're trying to recruit over you every year, where I knew coming into Westwood that I'd be able to make an impact as a freshman, or at least have a fair shake too. So credit to Coach Savage. He's been loyal to me since day one, and I could never go anywhere else besides here.
Win games, have an impact early. I'd say you've checked both of those boxes so far in your UCLA career. You've also said that a big reason why you chose to forego the MLB draft out of high school is because you attended the College World Series as a teenager, which really impacted your decision making. Why was that experience so formative? And can you tell us exactly what led to, or how that impacted your decision?
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of a toss-up, really, coming to the draft, July. I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do, and me and my dad sat down and just talked about it, and my mom as well. And we figured that going out to Omaha and kind of experiencing what that was about would be best for my decision. They did leave it up to me in those last few months to really figure out what I wanted to do, and they were going to support me whichever that was. But going out there, the atmosphere was unreal. I got to watch great baseball. I got to see Paul Skeens throw. But just being in that stadium and being around Charles Schwab was, just an experience that I just wanted the chance to get back there. I didn't think that I'd be happy with myself in 10, 15 years if I was done playing baseball and I never got the chance to do that. So, just coming here and, playing for a winning ball club was, step number one. And step number two is, just getting back to Omaha to be able to gain that experience, but as a player, not a fan.
Well, you're now just one series win away from getting to Omaha and accomplishing that dream. You've got to knock off University of Texas San Antonio in order to do that. What's the focus going into the Super Regionals this weekend?
Just playing our brand of baseball. That's when we're our best. That's when we've been our best all year. I think that this weekend was probably the best 3-game slate that we've played all year, and that was because we were just taking our game to the other guys. We play a different brand of baseball. We still kind of play the traditional West Coast brand of baseball, and when we do that and when we can execute that, that's when we're our best. So I think just going into the same game plan that we had this weekend will be beneficial for us.
We're showing a graphic right now with your offensive numbers. You've accomplished so many individual accolades this season, but you've continued to say that your attitude is team first. What is it about your relationship with your teammates and your coaches that makes you that bought in?
I mean, I just love the guys. Coming in, we had a relationship beforehand, even before getting to campus. And then just last year, getting to live in the dorms and hang out with the other 15 freshmen just really brought us together. And then, the goal of this year coming into the new season was to kind of create that bond with everybody in the locker room. Because last year, we talked about it in the fall, we talked about it preseason, that, there were kind of cliques, there was groups of people. It didn't really feel like a team, and that's probably one of the reasons that we weren't successful last year. And a big starting point this year was, just making everyone feel like family. So, I love all 39 guys in the locker room. I have a lot of respect for all my coaches, and I think that bond that we built in the offseason has been beneficial to us this year, and it's helped us a lot.
Before we let you go, speaking of the offseason, our producer John Bolfin got his hands on a Christmas card photo that you took with some of your teammates and posted on Instagram. I love the reaction, hand on the face. We need some answers. What's with the outfits? What was the inspiration for this?
We had no decorations in the house. Those are my 4 roommates. And one of our friends saw a video on social media and said that we should do this. And we kind of pushed it off, but then, we got back from Thanksgiving break, and it was on the to-do list for the couple weeks that we were back here for finals. So we went to we went to Target first and picked up some outfits, and then went to JCPenney, spent an hour and took some photos, and printed some stuff out for the house. But I mean, we had a good time with it. I thought it was pretty funny. So we're definitely doing it again next year.
Little stepbrothers there. It was absolutely hilarious. That is money well spent, my friend. Can we get on the mailing list for next year's Christmas cards?
For sure.
All right, we'll get you the Big Ten Network address. Well, Roch Cholowsky of UCLA Baseball, thanks so much for the time. We really appreciate you stopping by.
Thanks for having me.